Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So, you know, I know in the Discord I scheduled this event for 5 p.m. And so you see, the funny thing about that is it's actually supposed to be at 4 p.m. Eastern time because Raid Pal, in its infinite wisdom with New York as the time zone, just was like, no, we're gonna say it's at 5 o'clock. So, anyways, hello, welcome in, everyone. Welcome in, Blessing Boat Raiders. Thank you guys very much for the follows on Twitch. Salty Lightning, Blessing Boat, B Gilbert. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. I'm doing really good. I am doing really good. So, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do on stream today, necessarily, for the Raid Train event, so I think what I will probably end up doing is I am going to give a brief overview of the indie game I'm developing, Angels and Demons, and I am going to talk a little bit about the Christian inspiration that goes into it, among a few other things. So, welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Mama Brick Builds, welcome in. Mona Musa. Warrior of Light, thank you for the follow. Drink of the day. Okay, so drink of the day, Vexility, is actually just a bottle of water, but in my defense, I've already drank a Dr. Pepper, and I also had an energy drink, so I'm kind of, a little bit, fidgety right now, we'll say. Are you the only one that didn't come from the train? No, actually. I believe we have a few Angels and Demons Discord regulars in here, but what I'm going to do is first I'm going to stop shuffling my stream starting soon track here. I hope that everything sounds good. So, for stream today, I did make a few tweaks to. Oh, my now playing isn't there. Where did it go? Hold on. Let me fix that real quick. Where's my studio mode? Studio mode, viewport. Nope, not viewport. It's the other thing. What's it named here? Shoot. It wouldn't be a Journoid stream without some scuff. Looking. It's info bar scene. There we go. Okay. So. You had follower-only chat enabled? Oh, is that true? Whoops. I might need to change that. Followers-only chat. Where is that? Remove followers-only restriction. There we go. That should help. Okay. My apologies. There we go. It shouldn't be followers-only now. That's on me. I had a few art scammers come in, and I think I enabled that at the point. So, okay. With that all out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of the stream here. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. All you raiders, welcome. I hope you are having an exceptionally well day today. So, I guess what I'll do is I was doing some testing just ahead of time, like, cause like I said, I thought I guess Raid Pal doesn't support daylight savings, so there was a bit of a mix-up there. I guess that might have been the same thing that happened to Dino Dad right before me. I would have to imagine. So anyways, welcome in everyone. My name is Journoid. I'm a Christian indie game developer who is also kind of sort of a VTuber. I don't really like to claim the term VTuber. I do like to use the term ToonTuber though, as that's kind of more what I am, since I'm not really like an anime character or anything like that. I lean more into the cartoony aesthetic, and everything you see on my stream is themed around the game I'm developing, Angels and Demons. So, what you're seeing here in the viewport is just actually the editor. I'm using Game Maker to develop this game, and you'll see just a few different things on screen there. But Angels and Demons is a platformer RPG rhythm game with heavy Christian influence. I'll go ahead and launch the game, and we'll play through a little bit while I talk about it. But essentially, the method that you're gonna traverse the game world is platformer style. Think Super Mario World, Brothers, New Super Mario Brothers, something like that. When you go into fights against enemies, it will be turn-based RPG. Think Paper Mario or like the Mario and Luigi games are heavy inspirations, and it also features a vertical scroll rhythm game. So think Osumania or Dance Dance Revolution. Favorite Bible verse? I would have to go with John 3:30. I believe that goes, he must increase and I must decrease, or it might be vice versa, but that's one of my favorites. So real quick, I'm gonna pause the stream audio here, like the background music. Let's see, where's my audio player? Over here. That's rare. And we'll go over to game audio for this, so hopefully it sounds good. It's a little bit quiet. Also, Wordy Girl, thank you for the follow over on Twitch. All right, so I'll let this kind of title cutscene play out with its music while I talk a little bit more about the game, since and the state of development for it. So I've released 4 demos of this game up to this point, and I'm working on my 5th. And you might be thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot. What's the deal? So when I started developing this game, I did not know like anything about how to program or do art or make sound effects or do story or anything like that. So the first demo was just me kind of figuring out how to do things. The second demo was taking in some feedback from that first one. The third demo, I participated in a Nintendo Direct style presentation for a group called the Paperverse, and that demo featured a extra chapter, a new playable character, as well as some bonus things. And then the fourth demo added on to all of that and just ironed out some of the edges and essentially got it more in line with how I want the final game to be. So why the 5th demo? I've actually been going through and redoing all of the art for the game. So the characters you see here are the 5 protagonists of the game, and they used to not look as good as they do here. The previous art style was not that great, I'll say that. But art style, fixing up some issues with the story, just getting it into a state that I'm happy with now that I feel confident in my skills and what I want to do for the game moving forward. That's what I'm doing here, is just kind of fixing up the game and getting it ready for the remaining parts of development. So currently there are, in the public demo currently, which is demo 4, there are 2 chapters to play through with a pretty decent length post game, I guess, with a boss rush, 3 extra playable characters, and so on. So that's kind of the overview of where the game is currently. And I would like to give I'm just going to play through a bit of the prologue here and hope that it doesn't break, because this is still all in development. 2 Corinthians 5, 6 through 8. I'll have to look up these verses because I do not know them off the top of my head. Ephesians 6:12. Very good. Very good picks. Very good picks. You can't really go wrong with Bible verses necessarily. So there's a few things that you'll notice about the game that are just a little bit unfinished. Like, hey, we're selecting nothing here. So you'll have to bear with me just a little bit as we go through here. There are a few things that are just like a work in progress through all of this rework. Just things getting it ready, moving forward towards a final release. So you actually get to name the protagonist here, but I mean, I'm kind of basic. I'll just go with the default name that you can say, hey, you don't care about the name? Just press C. So we'll name him Journey. That's his default. And we'll go right in. So the game kicks off Sunday evening at 8 p.m. at Chapeltown Church. So, we have our protagonist here. His name is now Journey, and we have the pastor of the church, Pastor Emery. And I'll do my best to voice act here a little bit. I do kind of envision myself just a little bit as a voice actor. So, thanks again for sticking around to help tidy the place up. I really appreciate it. My old age gives me quite a bit of difficulty getting everything back in order nowadays. It's no problem. If you ever need help with anything, don't hesitate to ask. I'd be more than happy to lend a hand. That's great to hear, Sonny. You'd better get going now. You've got a bit of a distance to walk before you make it back home, don't you? Yeah, I guess you're right. I'll get going then. See you around. So, our game kind of starts off here just on a normal Sunday evening. Our protagonist will hang around after church to help clean up and do a few things, but now we just got to head home. So, like I said, platformer game, you get your standard locomotion, just move left and right, you can jump, you can crawl, things like that. So, we'll just kind of traverse over here a little bit. You can grab ledges and pull yourself up as needed. You can actually do a little baseball slide too if you're running through here, but otherwise we can just crawl. What about multiplayer mode? Yeah, multiplayer is kind of like broken right now, but I'll touch on that in a little bit. So, we're on our way home right now. It's getting a little bit late. As you can see, we went from about sunset to now the sun has passed set, and it's a little bit dark outside. But, as we go along here, you know, getting a little cloudy, getting a little bit darker, and we're hearing strange sounds. We're hearing some strange sounds. Must have been my imagination. Some stranger things happening right now. A little bit, you could argue. So, a lot just happened there. We got knocked off a cliff. We're, you know, we don't know what's going on. But let's continue on here with the game. Ugh. Are you well? You had quite the fall. Would you care to explain what happened? Well, I was walking home as usual. Then there was this weird thing that tried to attack me. I started running away, then boom! Something fell from the sky and knocked me off the cliff. Wait, who are you? What are you doing in a place like this, anyways? Oh, my apologies. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Yui, your guardian angel. We guardian angels are sent to tend to the living in very dire situations. That being said, it does not appear that you will be able to make it out of this cave on your own. I will lend you my aid. Once you are safe, I will depart from you. So, how exactly are we going to get out of here? Excellent question. You can make use of my angelic abilities. Move onwards, and we shall work together to traverse this cave system. Not Kodo, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Undertale, he fell down. This is true. So, we've just met our first party member, and who will soon become a great friend of ours, Yui, our guardian angel, and she lets us add an extra little ability to our arsenal called the dash. So, as we see here, hold space to initiate a dash, and release space to move in the direction that you're aiming. So, we can aim in the 8 cardinal directions, and just send ourselves up. We can do that in the air, we can do that from the ground, and so on. So, as we continue forward here in this tutorial, we can high jump by dashing upwards while grounded, which, for comparison, here's a normal jump, and here's a high jump. And as we can see, you can aim the dash in the 8 cardinal directions, use different directions to get the most out of each dash. I'm grateful this isn't a biblically accurate angel. Otherwise, we'd have to start that dialogue with fear not or do not be afraid. That's true. That's true. So we'll continue through here, get to the end of this cave, and we'll just continue on here. So, making light work out of these jumps with our new dash ability here. But as we continue on, this is where the game also gets a little bit more rhythmic. Certain objects will act in time with the music. These hills move up and down every 4 beats, so try counting the beats to determine the movement of the hills. So, just for sake of, like, selling this to the player and making sure they understand, there's a metronome that comes in here, and you can kind of hear that ticking along here. It might drown out the music a little bit, but again, it's a work in progress, so there's a few things that are rough around the edges right now. Spartan Eric, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. But these hills will move in time with the music. They'll change each 4 beats, as we've seen there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a lot of things that will actually sync up with the music. And we'll see more of that here shortly as we continue on. So we'll continue jumping through this cave and trying to get out here. And as we step out, we'll notice something interesting. As Yui stops us. Wait! Look up ahead!
We don't have enough energy to summon any more big guys. We were instructed to use all energy, so let's bring in a few underlings.
So, these are some not great people here. Oh my goodness! Those two are summoning demons!
Do you feel that holy energy too? You're too late for divine intervention. Underling, get him!
So, these guys, these are an interesting set of characters. This is, and we'll talk about them in just a second, but for now, we have entered our first turn-based battle, and I'll talk about that in just a second while I tend to chat. How does it feel to hold the speed record for this game? It feels great. It feels great. I'll take a second to plug the Discord. We do have a speedrunning channel inside the Angels and Demons Discord, so if you're interested in speedrunning the game, there is a channel for discussing strategies, and it's still an open challenge to whoever wants to try and beat my time, just for the record. So, as it is, I'm currently the world record holder for Demo 4 and Demo 3, so that is an open challenge. Where can people check out the demo? I will actually send this in chat right now. This link will send you to the most recent version of the demo. It's actually just journoid.net. So visiting that link will put you to, it'll send you to the latest demo, which is currently Demo 4, which you'll see if you open it up just how different the game looks through all of these changes. But and if you do encounter any bugs in it, there's you can email me, journoid@journoid.net, or you can hop in the Discord. We have a bug reports channel there too. So, anyhow, we are now inside of a turn-based battle. This may be a new experience for you. Would you like me to teach you how it works? So we'll actually follow through with Yui's tutorial. So, okay, if you look up, there's a row of icons, and, you know, work in progress. We'll see this in a second, because it's supposed to show up here, but it doesn't. This is the attack order, going left to right. Any icon that is doubled in size is the current attacker. The numbers at the top of each icon show the amount of attacks per turn each character has and have already used. When it's your turn to attack, you'll be able to select from multiple options: attacks, specials, items, actions, and flee. Entering the menu for each of these options will have different descriptions explaining what they do, so please take a look at all of them on your turn. And one last note, some of these actions may be unavailable at certain times. For example, we can't flee because we're cornered. Now, get ready to fight. So this up here at the top is the turn queue with the 3 icons there. We can see what order that our characters are going to attack, and the number at the bottom of them is how many turns they have to attack. So, and you might have noticed she mentioned 5 different actions, but since we're in a unique battle, we don't have any special attacks and we can't flee. But we do have some regular attacks. We have our jump, we have a melee attack, we have speed, and we have dash. So, jump and melee are actually music synced, and I'll show that off real quick. We'll do a jump. And now just listen, you'll hear the metronome come in, and we'll actually have to time this onto the beats. Just like that. And the same is true for melee. We will press Z when the charge meter is green, and this also syncs up with the music. So there we go. Yeah. Make sure everyone drops a follow so we can hit 100 followers. We are 10 away, I'm noticing, on the goal there. So, you might be thinking about like turn-based battles and such, but here's the thing about angels and demons is when you go to defend attacks, it's almost always going to be something different. So, the thrall comes in, he's gonna sell himself here when he's talking to his demon. So,
now, my underling, let's show off our devilish attack styles. Let's start with a defend attack. When a defend attack happens, those fools can counter your punches by jumping on you or melee attacking. So don't let them. Now let's see them try to survive this.
So, defense in Angels and Demons will follow a method called attack styles, and each one is different. So, this one's the defend attack style. We can jump, we can melee attack, and we're going to jump to defend ourselves there, countering, attacking, and defeating the demon.
There's more where that came from.
So, he's going to summon in another demon here. Ignore the broken animations. It's, again, work in progress. We're getting there. There's a lot of stuff I've had to redo, so unfortunately, animations is one of them. But now we're into our next turn here. You might have noticed that it said round 2 up there. Each round is like a loop through the turn queue. So we'll go ahead into our next attack here. We'll also do what I like to call smooth moves. So there's secret inputs that you can press during your attacks that will actually net you a little bit of XP after battles. So if you press the jump button when you're at the peak of your jump in this rhythmic attack here, you will actually pose and do a little sound effect, and it will net some extra XP after the fight's over. Just like that. And you can do this in all of them too. You can do it in the melee attack too. You just have to press the, I believe it's the jump button again, we'll see, right after, or right as soon as your attack hits. There we go.
Since they love to counterattack so much, let's see them try to dodge instead. Time for the dodge attack style. It limits their movement to up, left, right, and center. No counterattacking this time. When they move, they'll stay at that location for about 1 second, but they can press the opposite direction to go back to a neutral position. Now try and dodge this one, freaks!
So this is the dodge attack style. Just as he said, we can move in 3 different directions, or we can stay at the center. So we're just going to avoid that demonic hand there and let it go back and hit him. Just like that.
Lend me your energy. We must summon another.
So one more demon comes in, and this is going to showcase our last attack style. So we'll go through here. And this one is honestly one of the biggest ones in the entire game in terms of like what you can do. So
all right, we're gonna freestyle this next one. It's the freestyle attack style. Send them into an arena where they control just like they do outside of battles. They can use whatever abilities they want. Just don't let them hit you when you're vulnerable.
Vulnerable. I can speak words.
Now, freestyle on them.
So freestyle takes you into an arena like this, and you actually get full control, just like you do in the overworld. That attack goes by pretty quickly, and I wanted to get the counter out so we don't have to repeat a turn there, but just know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're out of energy.
So, we've won our battle there, and we will get some XP afterwards. If you gain enough XP, you will level up, which strengthens your physical abilities. So, we unfortunately didn't get enough XP to level up here, but we're going to go straight into our next cutscene here. But after I tend to chat, I'll read this one off. Michael Jackson fans for real. This is true. Miss Jellybeans, welcome in, welcome in. Hello, everyone. Any new viewers, welcome in. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome in if you're from the Blessing Boat Raid Train. And if you're just kind of popping in to check out the stream, also welcome in as well. Hey, we did it. We did. Those demons are no more.
The only thing you did was nab the top spot on our hit list. You will be subject to the desecration. Keep a watchful eye, church boy. You never know when we might strike.
Journey, I will be extending my stay with you here. Demonic attacks, threats of harm, and whatever knocked you off that cliff, it's my duty as your guardian angel to keep you safe from these things. Based on what you said earlier, your home church is nearby, is that correct? That would be the safest place for us to be for the time being. Oh, yeah, it is. It should be just a little distance from here. I should be able to get us there. Very well. Lead the way, Journey. So, those two guys were members of something called the Profane Denomination. They are an in-universe, like, evil group, basically, that, as far as we know right now, is going around places and summoning demons and just overall causing havoc. So, we'll continue on. There's a little bit more story we can get into here, but... Followed, have to lurk, still at work. Thank you for the follow, really appreciate it. And Romans 1014 XP, thank you for the follow. Hope you're having a great day. So normally here, this is where we would get our first tutorial for the rhythm game, but again, work in progress for a few things, so it's actually broken right now. But I can show that off a little bit here. I will hop over to Demo 4 when necessary, but I did add in an extra little door here so we can move forward properly. So just know that's where we would begin our rhythm game escapades. Chat wants British MC. Okay, next dialogue box. I can make him British. So we're gonna head back to the church now. It's daytime, which, you know, we were just in the night, but nope. Now it's daytime. So how much time passed when we were in that cave? So we can come here to the church for the first time since the events. We bring Yui here, and we'll just come up to the center of the church here, right at the pulpit. So I'd imagine this is probably the actually, let me go British. I'd imagine this is probably the center of the church.
I believe so. Demons and those under the influence of demons will have a very hard time reaching us here.
Being back here kind of puts into perspective just how crazy everything's been. Demons, that weird thing at the cliff, and now a bounty on our heads from those cult guys. It's by the grace of God I'm even alive. And what better place to give thanks than in the church?
Would you like to join me in prayer? We should pray, giving thanks and asking for guidance.
Of course.
Excellent. Let us bow our heads. Let us pray. Dear Lord, our Father in heaven, thank you for this day you have given us. We come to you today in prayer, asking for your guidance and protection. Lord, we recently had an encounter with people and demons that wished harm upon us. We are grateful for your protection in these moments. We pray that those people will come to know you, Lord, and that they will repent of their sins. If it is your will, Lord, we ask that you allow us to put a stop to the group these individuals belong to. Please show us the way in which we should go. Lord, it is in your name we give honor, thanks, and praise. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
And then we stop praying. Oh, Pastor Emery. Ah, Journey, nice to see you. Wait, wrong one.
Oh, Journey, nice to see you. You as well, Mum. I don't believe we've met before.
Hello, sir. My name is Yui. It's very nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. Is there anything I could help you youngsters with?
Here's a serious question. Is there going to be an issue using the name Angels and Demons with it being a sequel to Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code Angels and Demons? I don't think so. I did look this up. I think they only own the trademark to that in the film space. And if it somehow does become an issue, then I guess I'm going to have to change the name and I'm going to literally explode. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. So... Maybe. We were wondering if you saw any kind of cult activity around Chapeltown before.
Yes, we encountered some scary individuals up in the mountains that were summoning demons. They were clad in red robes and wanted to do us harm.
So the profane denomination has returned.
Profane denomination?
Mm-hmm. Many years ago, Chapeltown fell victim to an attack by these evildoers. Buildings got ransacked, people were attacked, and their thralls summoned demons that caused all sorts of chaos. After some time, an unfamiliar man appeared. He shouted a shout so loud it echoed through the whole town. It was like he spoke with authority over them. The thralls recoiled in fear, and the demons sunk back into the depths. Many townsfolk thought him to be a prophet. He claimed this place was no longer safe and would lead those who followed to the sacred state of the Order of Faith. I didn't trust him, and I pleaded with the others to stay, but nearly everyone chose to follow him. You see, I saw an old member of the church rushing in with an angel to fight off those demons. I could feel the holy presence of that angel, but not offer that so-called prophet. But that's about the extent of what I remember. Sorry, youngsters, they must have some kind of unfinished business if they're back here. Wow, you have any idea what the goal is? What can we do to try and stop him? Your guess is as good as mine. I ain't got the slightest clue. But you know, your description of them did remind me of something I saw in a news article earlier. Y'all come take a look at this.
Oh. Worst case scenario. Oh, actually, let me look here at chat. We mock British people by saying bottle of water. Do you think they mock us by saying bottle of water? This is true. I doubt, honestly, because it's a simple wording situation. It's very difficult to stop anyone from using simple words like that. I agree. I will agree with that. It does seem like, you know, it's a very generic name, maybe to its like benefit or detriment. Worst case scenario, flip it, demons and angels. I did that for April Fool's one day. Angels and Demons 2 leaked name. Nah. Tell us why the pastor's name is Emery. The lore is when I was really, really young, I had a stuffed animal that I named Emery. And I was like, you know, that'll be a cool reference. And that's actually it. Anyways, so let's go back in. Big Top Country Diner grand opening. Legendary rock star Bigly Big Top Bellows has celebrated the grand opening of a country-style diner in Dusty Rock County. Oh, look at the background of that photo. It's the guy, he shows up. Hi, that looks like one of those thrall guys. Considering we do not know any of these profane denomination characters are, perhaps our best course of action is to seek out this individual. I agree. It looks like Dusty Rock is our best lead right now. If we're going to find anything about those guys, we need to get there as soon as possible. Now, I do recall reading there that Big Top has prepaid a bunch of those old-fashioned carriage rides. If you all feel led to Dusty Rock, that'd be the quickest way of getting out of there with the railway being out of commission. Right, let's see if we can catch a ride to Dusty Rock. So, minor bug with my game there. I'm gonna have to like load back in because it disables all characters, just where I'm redoing cutscene related things. So pretend that they were there and we just finished that scene properly. Boneless Banana, yo, thank you for the follow. Welcome in, welcome in. Actually, it's because chapter 9 you find out his real name is Memory, and the whole game is just a memory of main character playing a video game. None of it's real. No, it could never. It could never. So that is essentially the prologue of Angels and Demons. If we move a little bit forward here, our next course of action is actually going on a old-timey carriage ride, horse carriage ride out to Dusty Rock, which is our World 1. So I think this will work, but I haven't tested it in quite a bit. So hopefully it doesn't break here. But we can come out here through Chapeltown, and we have this guy, Dusty Rock Rides. So now there's two things that can happen. Either this dialogue works, or all of the text boxes are, hey, it seems like the developer didn't program this to display correctly. So, yup. So we'll skip through it here and just go through with this. And we should, if everything still works properly and doesn't crash, we'll find out. We'll end up in World 1. But, we do have a little intermission cutscene here with our antagonist, the profane denomination. So
I sense a disturbance.
Your Darkness, we haven't received any reports yet. Perhaps you are simply feeling an abnormal fluctuation.
Now, don't disrespect the Husk that way. If he says there's a disturbance, then there's your disturbance.
Yes, I feel it too. Trust the words of the Husk. Very well, I will touch base with the various squadrons, and I speak of the devil.
Good evening. You have reached the Propane Depreciation Hotline. Our goal is a greener, more eco-friendly world.
please press 1 to speak to a representative, or press 2 to connect via a party's identification code. Ah, Chapeltown Squadron. Hello, this is Dr. Fallengar speaking. Yes, I see. How interesting. Did you neutralize them? I see, yes, of course. Oh, now that changes things. Right then, I will begin making preparations. Please write up a full report for us to review. It seems we have opposition in Chapeltown.
Of all places, right?
Two separate instances. The demonic influence of the area has decreased enough that we will need to send more energy that way. However, I humbly ask that you allow me to do the honors. Our thralls in Chapeltown claim there's some very technical aspects to this resistance. Technical aspects that would be highly beneficial to my current research, might I add. Do you have any objections, Your Darkness?
Go.
You have my utmost gratitude. I will begin making the necessary preparations. May your desecration reign.
Chapeltown, huh? Maybe I can get things moving faster than I thought. Well, I guess I'll be taking my leave then too, Your Darkness. May your desecration reign.
He does love rolling his R's. So yeah, this cutscene might be a little bit broken right here, but pretend we're on our way to Dusty Rock and some things happen and some guys show up and we get knocked out of the carriage. You can see it's a little bit broken here, but that's because cutscenes are in the process of being recreated at the moment. So press 1, or press 2, Bro thinks he's a voice actor. This is true. I need to get into it, but legit. Do you go to YouTube or stay on Twitch? Either or. Okay, so this is where things break a little bit, but I'm going to, let's do a room restart here. Will this fix some things for me? Maybe, maybe not. Ah, because our characters aren't here. There they are. Let's try that again. Okay, so, we'll continue on a little bit. Ignore the debug collisions here, but this is chapter 1. This is Dusty Rock. So what I've been asking, why did you accept Christ and when? So that's an excellent question, actually. And it's a bit of a long story, so I'll have to phrase it in a way that doesn't actually, like, dox me or reveal too much personal information about myself. But I have been a Christian for the majority of my life, but I was lukewarm for the majority up until about, let's see, I think it would be about 2017 or so. Basically, and for, you've already docked yourself, you live in Chapeltown, yeah. So, I think it would be about 2017. It's been, I guess, yeah, 2017 sounds right. It was about 9 years ago. I basically lived in church for about a year, which is an incredibly long story, and I can't get into the specifics about that, but I did not have a home. I lived in a church for almost a year. And in the time that I was there, I was going to church more frequently, and one message that I heard really convicted me and made me realize that I actually did not, I was not living a very Christian life, despite calling myself a Christian. So I had like a lot of conviction there, and it wasn't really a good thing. I will say that. Well, I say it wasn't really a good thing. That's kind of like not a good way to say it, but the way I had been living wasn't good. Let me say that. And also, I've closed the game because we're getting to the point where it's like falling apart with some issues. So we'll go back to stream playlist now for music, but while I talk about things like that. But I I'd realized I wasn't really living the Christian life I should be while calling myself a Christian, and kind of went on this deeper journey into my faith. And as I kind of progressed through there, also driven by faith, thank you for the follow, welcome in. As I started to like learn more and realize that I need to start living more towards Christ, I just was growing closer and closer to Christ over the years. And that kind of brought me to about, let's say, I'll say my first year of college, which was around 2019, is when I really started getting serious into my faith and diving into my own personal studies. I started a Bible in 1 year plan around September, I think it was, and finished that. So I can say I've read the whole Bible, and I've made that a tradition around every new year. I start a plan and I read through the whole Bible each year. This will be the 7th year I have done that. So, there's one thing I've got going that I think has really helped reinforce my faith, but essentially, the TLDL, the too long didn't listen, is I was living lukewarm. I wasn't truly living for Christ. I got convicted by a message that I feel like was literally made for me in church one Sunday, and then I decided to turn my life around and start rooting out like sin that I had in my life, and like just things that have been not beneficial to me in the slightest, that have just been very at worst anti-Christian. I had views that I no longer agree with, things that I supported that I no longer claim to, things like that. I will say that I've grown in Christ quite a bit in the past 7 to 8 years. I appreciate your vulnerability and willingness to say I was lukewarm. This was also me for a while. I think a lot of Christians struggle with lukewarmness, and we are called to either be hot or we are to be cold. And that's depending on how you interpret that verse in Revelation. It's I heard this explained by my pastor one time, where it's like it was kind of related to, this specific thing would have been related to the way that water was handled in one of these early Jerusalem towns, I believe. I don't, and it's been a little bit since I heard this message, but so forgive me if like the analogy doesn't like work too correct, but I believe that's how it was. But to be lukewarm is to just not be living in the faith. We should be proactive in our faith. We should really be living for Christ. And like there's a lot that goes on with this. I could talk about Christianity and faith, like, and how it relates to like my game dev journey for hours. Let's see. Let me tend to chat real quick. Been there, done that, unfortunately. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing the game on Steam or itch. I will send the link again. You can actually play the current public demo on journoid.net. This will redirect you to the itch.io page. And you can also wishlist the game on Steam. There should be a link on there as well, or on the buttons below. So, shameless self-plug. I think a lot more Christians have been there but afraid to say it. I know for a time that was me as well, and when people don't say these things out loud, it stunts your growth and maturity in the Lord and your relationship with the Word. This is very, very true. I am a big proponent of actually like just being very vocal about my faith, and like the influences, like for example, like the Christian influences for angels and demons here, like are very apparent. I am not afraid to say that it is a Christian game that is inspired by Christian theology and even some extra biblical Christian mythos things. That's why there is a disclaimer before the title screen that says, hey, you know, there's some creative liberties taken here. I'm not trying to ride on to the canon of Christianity or anything like that. Just like I'm trying to tell a story here, and it uses Christian themes as a basis, right? So there's a few things that are, you know, that I will say are extra biblical necessarily, like, oh, summoning demons, or just physically seeing your guardian angel. Like, I can't say that many people have experienced things like that. Part of the human condition, very true. Also agreed, it's hard to sharpen one another if we don't know where others struggle. Likewise, it's hard to get correction if no one knows you're struggling. This is very, very true. Even as pastors and ministry leaders, we need to be more vulnerable and okay with discussing our faith challenges, past and present. That goes a long way with those we lead. Yes, and this goes for any new viewers or regular Journoid viewers. If you ever have any questions related to Christianity or my faith or anything like that, don't hesitate to ask. I love to talk about it, and it is something that I will never shy away from. If I ever stop professing the name of Christ, then please help me. I've been replaced. That's not me. And I'm very, very confident in my faith there. So there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot that will go into like how we should approach things as Christians. And like I said, I do think it's important that, like, all Christians, whether you are new to the faith or you are or if you've been saved like for years, or if maybe you just got baptized or anything like that, this goes for you. You right there, the Christian on the other side of the screen, or the person who's on the fence about coming to Christ. So you should ask questions. You should ask questions to your fellow brothers in Christ, or for someone, ask questions to someone that you know is a Christian. All right? Like, I will never, ever shy away from answering questions like that. Need to hop off. Sorry. Good night. Abracadabra, alakazam, poof. Good night, Vexility. Hope you have a wonderful night, and thank you for hopping into the stream. It's cool you can point to the viewers. Yeah, I have a lot of different emotions for my ToonTuber here. We can go neutral. We can get locked in. We can be happy. I can actually look up here at you chatters. I have a little animation that I play whenever I first pop into stream, so I'll hide myself real quick, and hello! I have a little wave that I do. I can kind of do this, like, unsure shrug, a less sure shrug. I can laugh, I can be shocked, I can poggers, I can have a headache a little bit, I can point at you, the viewer, I can point at you, the viewer, more sternly, but this one's a little bit broken because my mouth doesn't move, and I can tell you to be quiet. But this one's also broken, it loops, so there's a few things. And I can also change costumes, too, if I add a little bit more of those in. That's something I haven't gotten around to doing recently, but I typically like to do a new costume around Halloween. Not last year's Halloween, but the year before that, I went as Tomura Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. So, and he has a few of these, too. Like, we can have, like, a evil little grin here. There's a few he's missing, like, I can't look up, I can lock in, I can be unsure, let's see, I can be shocked, I can be excited, things like that. There's a few he's missing, though, that I don't have for him, because he's an older costume, but eventually I'll get him up to speed. Also, my dogs are barking, so I apologize if you can hear them, but I actually got a microphone plug-in that's supposed to filter out background noise like that, so make all these things yourself. Yes, I did, actually. Everything you see on stream here is done by me, except for the audio visualizer in the background and the chat. So the overlay is created by me. The kind of the text scroll, this like updating follower goal for Twitch and YouTube, those things are also done by myself. The VTuber, ToonTuber model, that is done by me as well. I have done it intentionally to fit the style of Angels and Demons as well. Everything around my stream is themed around it. So, like, I can actually, I'll switch some scenes around here. The starting soon, you can kind of see the characters dance around here. And I also have one, let's see, here's a just chatting scene. Yep, so I'll sit up here in the chair. Chat's on the screen now, and you can kind of see one of my monitors in the background. And there's one more that I have that I would like to start using again sometime soon. This might be a hint at some future stream content, but I have one scene for streaming Nintendo DS games. So DS or 3DS, themed around my actual 3DS. So, but we'll go back to mainstreaming. So, sorry if you said it, but I think my audio is having issues. Will there also be a Linux port of the game? That would be really cool if I could do it, though. The way that GameMaker lets me export to Linux is a little bit strange sometimes. I think it's primarily for Ubuntu, but to my understanding, you should be able to run the game through Wine on Linux. I have had a few people play it that way, and so far it works, though, you know, it's not officially supported yet, but it is something I would like to do, though. Whether or not that's something that is locked in and I can do is, you know, to be determined. But so yeah, I'm glad you guys are liking the stream and stuff. But I do have some big plans for streams going forward. I will share one other thing that I'm planning, since we're coming up on time, that I will have to raid out back to Blessing Box. But one other thing that you guys might find interesting if you want to stick around, that'll happen later on once I, you know, actually get it programmed and set up, is I am planning to do a interactive stream game that I'm going to call Spiritual Warfare. So I'll open some characters here real quick so we actually see them. Imagine that we have Yui and a evil counterpart that is definitely not related to her, and I mean this when I say this, all right? When I say that she is not related to Yui regularly, this is both in lore, and I'm being absolutely serious. Imagine we have Yui and Imp Yui here. These are characters from Angels and Demons flying around on stream, and you get to influence what happens on the stream. Say, for example, that I have some HP and lives, and I'm playing a video game, and every few minutes there will be a weighted choice option that comes up on screen. Do I get a positive effect, or do I get a negative effect? And chat gets to vote to either help or hinder my playthrough of a specific video game. And these things could be like anywhere from just like, oh, like the next effect is nullified, or I'll lose HP, or maybe it's something purely cosmetic, like it enables a old CRT TV filter on the screen for me, and I just have to play like I'm on an old box TV. Something like that. I'm still working out the details for it because it's something that's going to take a lot of work, but I would like to do an interactive stream game that would involve all chats. So that would involve YouTube chat, Twitch chat, YouTube Shorts chat if people wanted to join in, because I do multi-stream if you weren't aware. Kind of similar to crowd control, yes, but with my own unique spin that kind of also interacts with the stream itself. So, it would basically be crowd control, but dialed up a bit, is what I'm going for. And it would be able to hook into some of the other things, like maybe swap the ToonTuber costume to something different, or, you know, force me to reload from the previous save or something like that. Just a lot of different things. And I want to kind of like make sure that I have like some cool things fleshed out. Maybe do something that's like on a per game basis, like say, maybe I'm playing through Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, and every single time I run out of stream HP, then I have to reload from the last save. Tied into rewards, yeah, I was thinking of doing that, like channel rewards, like redeems or something like that. The only issue with that is then it'll actually isolate my YouTube viewers, and I do have quite a few community members that are YouTube only. They don't use Twitch, and I don't want to isolate them or leave them out of anything. It's ideally something that, as long as I can monitor, I want it to be something that if you can monitor chat with a, like if your chat can be monitored by like streamer.bot or Sammy or some other plugin, then you should be able to participate in the game, essentially, is what I'm thinking of. So, like, you know, if I ever wanted to branch out to streaming maybe on Twitter/X or TikTok or something like that, those chats should be able to interact just as much as Twitch or YouTube chat should be able to, is the idea, which is why I'd have to program it myself, which, you know, already makes it kind of difficult. So But yeah, I guess kind of like restream. Kind of, sort of. But it is something really, really cool that I've been playing around with in my mind that I'd like to execute moving forward. So let's see, time check. It is 5 o'clock. Are we ready to raid back out to Blessing Boat? Top of the hour. Thanks for being here and great to meet you. Hey, thank you guys for coming in. Thank you very much for coming in, and I really appreciate the raid. I really appreciate all the new follows and all the new viewers. I hope you enjoyed my overview of Angels and Demons. I hope it's something that you're interested in, and I guess I'll sign out here real quick with a be sure to subscribe on YouTube. If you haven't already followed on Twitch, do that. And if you want to, join the Discord, interact with the community if that's something you'd be interested in. And you can find links to everything in the boxes down below on Twitch. Otherwise, it is just I'm Journoid on everything pretty much. So you can find me just through that. But again, thank you guys very much for coming out. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys hopefully in the next one. So let's go raid out here. Warrior of Light, are you going to handle that? Can you, through moderation, can you do the raid, or do I need to do that from my end? I need to, let's see, search and filter, Blessing Boat. Yeah, I did give you mod privileges, but I think I have it right here. Blessing Boat. If you want me to go ahead and raid out, I think that's how it... Yeah, just raid back out to Blessing Boat. Right. So I got it ready here. This will actually be the first time I raid, so here we go. Blessing Boat. Here we go. So everyone head back over to the Blessing Boat. We are raiding Blessing Boat with 23 viewers. So make sure you guys head on there. And if you're on YouTube, hey, hop over to the Twitch side of things. Join the Blessing Boat raid. Stick around. There's going to be a few more streams that happen on throughout the day. You'll probably see me hanging out in there as well if you want to interact with some of the other streamers through Blessing Boat. I really hope you will, but that is about all I've got for today's stream. I know it's kind of a short one for Journoid standards, but definitely go check out the other streamers on Blessing Boats. And shout out to Mama Brick Builds, who actually introduced me to Blessing Boat. I'm very thankful for the introduction and getting me on this one. So looking forward to maybe doing more in the future. So big shout outs. Go follow her as well. But anyways, I think that is all I have to say. We're going to send the raid, and I'm going to end stream. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out.